Hey, Houseguests. I'm Andrea Chu.
And I'm David Belleville.
And welcome to episode 2 of our Big Brother talk show on 10 Tampa Bay Plus and our 10 Tampa Bay YouTube channel.
So happy to be here. What an explosive week in the Big Brother house. We have a lot to talk about and dig into.
Yeah, tensions are rising. Things are heating up. People are being caught in lies, which we haven't seen too much of. People are really showing their true colors.
So
I'm loving it.
Drama. We love to see it.
I have to say, Julie Chen-Moonves, and I are on the same wavelength this week.
Ooh, do tell.
Because we both debuted our bobs on Thursday night.
Yes.
I loved it. I love how she always is changing up her look. Me and Julie are the same like that way. Like, we just get each other.
You two are like two peas in a pod.
Me and Julie.
And she's keeping us on our toes, as are you. And might I say, your bob and her bob, they look incredible.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I also, if you can see, I have the golden power of veto this week. And that is because with the upcoming scary week in the house, we learned there will be no HOH competition, no veto competition, nothing as usual. So I'm happy to hold on to this power for the time being. I got you, Julie. I got you, Houseguests.
Thank you. I feel better protected with you wearing that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Of course.
So we're going to dive into everything this week. We'll start with Sunday's episode. Go back in time, the beginning of the week. Jared and Corey's big fight in the have-not room. That kind of set the tone for where we are now.
Yeah.
So I want to get into everything that happened.
Yeah. So essentially, Jared was sent by Mama Suri to go do a little bit of recon because Suri's spidey senses were tingling and she could sense that the vibes were off in the house. And so, like the little soldier he is for his mom, Jared was supposed to go and, as she put it, just do some recon, but instead he started a war. And one of the season's better altercations played out in the have-not room between Corey and Jared. And it was every bit of explosive.
Yeah. First of all, I thought it was fascinating maybe this isn't like groundbreaking, but for Suri to be like, I'm feeling the tides are shifting because no one's looking me in the eye. We're not talking game. She knows what's up, and she sent him down there. He blew it, I would say. I don't think it could have gone worse for him. He was drowning in that conversation, drowning in that room.
Drowning in the lies.
The lies. So many lies. Okay, well, here's the first mistake that he made was he went up to Corey and he said, wait, it was Corey first or Matt first?
It was Matt.
It was Matt first.
Yes.
And he said, Jag told me that we're voting Izzy out this week. And, this was a lie. This never happened. He didn't have to do this. Something that could easily be verified by just going to ask Jag, oh, did you and Jared have this conversation? Which they did not. He could have just said, oh, I've been hearing rumors that Izzy's going to go out this week, and then learn what you can from that. Don't make up a lie leading into the conversation.
As you said, easily verifiable. This whole entire argument really showcased how sloppy Jared's gameplay has been. He makes up this lie on the spot, it seems, without really any strategy or thought behind it, or what the repercussions might be. And it was immediately exposed. Like, no time was wasted. Matt was able to find this out very quickly that this was a lie. Words travel fast in the Big Brother house, and this cast has loose lips, and this entire situation proved that. And honestly, also showcased when Jared feels backed into a corner, his emotions really come out. And it was evident there. He, as you said, was starting to drown, and all of these other people were brought into the room as well. Suri ended up coming in. Bowie, Jane was in there for some reason. And just the drama was must-see TV and really put Jared on a path to nowhere.
And if they weren't sure before, Corey and Matt, they were sure now that Jared and Suri are very closely aligned. I don't think they suspect anything other than that, but it's still harmful to their game. Also, something that I did notice, my friend and I were talking about how when Suri walked into the room and he was like, oh, hey, Mama C. I think they call Suri and Felicia, Mama Suri and Mama Felicia. And we're like, I wonder if Jared started that, so that if he got caught calling her mom, he'd be like, yeah, Mama C, she's our mom in the house.
Yeah,
That's just the theory.
I noticed that too, but it has to be something that the whole entire house calls them, because that was noticed by me as well. Like immediately, I cannot believe he just let that slip out. There was also so much going on in that moment that maybe it was just missed, but that was interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it was a slip. I think like people do call them that, but maybe he set that up to cover himself in case he did slip later.
Yeah,
So I was
maybe.
like, that's actually pretty clever if he came up with that, but they all called him that. So
You mentioned Corey, and this kind of gets us into how the rest of the week advanced. But that fight and the days leading up to it really showed him stepping up in this house, becoming a leader in this house with a voice. He's really showcasing some strong gameplay. And also at this point, it's becoming obvious that Jared and Suri are a duo, but now America and Corey are becoming a power duo as well. And that moment on has really laid the groundwork for the rest of the season.
There are two clear sides. It's the Corey America side, the Suri and Jared side, and everybody else is just trying to figure out where they fall and who they're going to align with going forward. That brings us to, we saw the end of the Wall HOH competition, which Jared won, which I just loved that. I love when this happens, when everyone is like, no matter what happens, even if I fall, it cannot be Jared. It can be anyone but Jared. And then Jared wins.
Of course Jared won. The BB gods wouldn't have had it any other way.
I loved it. I kind of wanted Bowie Jane to win just because I have no idea what she would have done. But
I don't think she knows.
I don't think so either. But it was fascinating. I'm like, of course he won at the exact right moment. And something I did notice that I was screaming at the TV over was that Suri over-celebrated. She was hooting and hollering. She was jumping up and down. She ran over and gave him a hug. I thought she was going to start doing cartwheels. I was like, can you please relax?
I mean, at this point, it's that obvious that they are working together. If people aren't figuring out by now that they're mother and son.
Mm-hmm. And people don't even really need to know that they're each other's number one. It's becoming very clear. People are figuring it out. And it's going to hurt them regardless of whether people know the secret or not.
Another alliance that has came to be, another duo, if you will, is Felicia and Mimi.
Mm-hmm.
Felicia kind of had a breakup of sorts with Suri when she realized that she was on the outside looking in, Jared and Suri. And after Izzy left, she kind of had nowhere to go. So I commend her for finding a partner in crime to go through this game with. And then we see Mimi showcase a little bit of where her gameplay is at. It seems like a genuine connection.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I totally think it's a genuine connection. I think these two have connected from the start. That conversation that we saw of them in that little prop room or whatever they call it was them just getting on the same page, being like, you're realizing too that Suri and Jared are really close and are each other's number one. So why don't you and I form a final two right now? And it will be interesting to see going forward if they continue working with Suri and Jared or if they kind of just completely leave them behind and secretly maybe work with Corey in America or just another group in the house.
Yeah, it's going to be a numbers game, and wherever the numbers lie. One thing that I'm paying attention to, though, with them too, is the difference in their gameplay. They're kind of polar opposites. When you think about Mimi being so tactful and careful and playing her cards close to her chest, whereas Felicia has kind of proven to be a little bit more flippant and careless. So, they say opposites attract. Maybe their two different gameplay styles will come together and make them a threat. I'm really interested. This is kind of the mother and daughter version of Suri.
Exactly. It's very sweet.
Jared. So I love to see it.
So Jared nominated America and Corey. This wasn't a big shock. He just had that huge fight with Corey, and America is Corey's closest ally. It was the easiest thing to do. That brings us to Wednesday's episode. Something I really noticed was Jared and Blue's trouble in paradise. Big fight they started having. Mostly Blue was just asking questions and Jared wasn't wanting to tell her the information. So he was like getting angry at her.
Yeah, that was another situation where his back was kind of against the wall. And so he kind of just turns towards his emotions and they really come out. I think that, a lot of what I saw on social media and just my immediate reaction was that it didn't paint him in a good light to see him talking to Blue that way, especially when they are very aligned and she can help him. It's just it these altercations that he's finding himself in, it always seems like he's on the losing end of them.
And she could also blow up his game at any moment. And I feel like he forgot that. She has his biggest secret figured out. So if that really goes south, she could blow up his game.
100%. It's again another kind of sloppy gameplay move. You got to keep these people as close to you as you can, and it seems like he's alienating anybody who has once wanted to work with him.
Mm-hmm.
And, look where that's gotten him.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's out of a good place. It's out of him wanting to stay loyal to his mom, but it's becoming harder and harder to cover that up.
Yeah, and it's impacting his mom's game too.
Big time. So come time to pick the names to play the veto competition, another funny thing happened where they were like, no matter what, Cameron cannot play in this veto because he is the backdoor target this week. And everyone picks their little names, and America's got her hand in the thing, and she goes, Cameron.
Of course it was Cameron.
I love when that happens. Not that I like Cameron, but I like the chaos.
Cameron has really grown on me. I'm not afraid to say it. He caused so much chaos. All of this week's chaos is a result of the chaos he started the week prior. But his time in the house wasn't for long until this big twist came that we'll talk about. But he eventually was the first one evicted from the double eviction night.
Yeah, this veto competition they played though was so funny. The feet in the backyard. Why were the feet so realistic? I don't know.
So you were paying attention to the feet too. One thought that immediately came to mind was whose idea was this? Who thinks of these things? And then where are these feet now? Like, what do they do with these props? These insane props. The BB prop room must be just like an Alice in Wonderland type trip. I can't, these feet were
They have the
hard to
most
look at.
elaborate setups in this backyard. I want to know how it works. Like, how long they have to stay out of the backyard for them to set up this whole thing. It's very elaborate. It's not a quick, they threw up a tarp and some little squirty things to catch the liquid in the helmet for the game. It was a whole setup.
It's ridiculous. And
it was so funny.
I wonder what room those feet are in now.
They were taking the most comical, slip and falls during this game.
It was a good game.
Like a cartoon little, whoa.
It was a good one.
It was very funny.
And so Matt ends up winning, Jag ends up winning the veto and pulls Corey off of the block, setting up the back door for Cameron. But one thing I've noticed is that Jag having an opportunity to help Corey, Matt earlier in the game helped Jag. They have developed this trio, kind of a big three in the house without really ever solidifying this power alliance. But if the three of them work together moving forward, they are the team to beat in this house, with Corey kind of being on the outside looking in as Matt and Jag are the Minutemen. So I don't know, just that moment of Jag pulling Corey off of the block for me was like, wow, these three guys can really band together and get all the way to the end. I can see a path for them.
That's true. That group definitely has the most trust as well. I don't think that they've really told lies to each other, betrayed each other like the other alliances have. It seems they've really stayed true to each other.
Yeah, I think that they're definitely a trio to watch moving forward.
Yes. Something that was interesting, though, before we learned the results of the veto, Cirie went up to Jared and said, if Cameron wins the veto, put me up on the block. Knowing that she likely could go home in that scenario, which really showed Cirie is willing to sacrifice her game for Jared.
Yeah, I understood her logic there, but I don't think even if she would have been put on the block that it would have sold to the rest of the house like, oh, they're not working together anymore. I respect it. Like Mother of the Year right there. She's doing exactly what Mama Bear would do for her cub. But
Yeah.
I don't know if the effects, we'll never know, but I just don't know if it would have impacted the house and Jared standing in the house as much as she thought. Regardless, I'm glad that she's still in and able to fight.
Me too. And we'll see if in the future they're faced with another scenario like that where
Mm-hmm.
she has to choose his game over her game. Brings us to Thursday's episode.
Wow.
A crazy one, a fast-paced double eviction one. Those ones always stress me out because they're running. They do the competition. They run and they have their little talks, and they run and they do the veto. It's like crazy.
And then
it.
the episode after a double eviction, so Sunday night's episode is going to be really good too because they'll show us like what we didn't get to see in between commercial breaks and some of that strategizing that they had to cut away from during the live show. So, it's going to be good.
So we start pretty quickly with Cameron's eviction. That wasn't a big shocker. They've been trying to get him out of the house for a long time. He's a great competitor. Unanimous vote, he leaves. However, he didn't really leave normally because Julie said he's now a zombie of the house. And we're all like, what? Like, we don't really know what that means yet.
No, she held on to that until the end.
But we do know his game isn't over.
Which, of course, because it's Cameron and he's a survivor.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a different game. But in this context, he's a survivor and he has done everything he could to stay in this game. And now he has another opportunity after being voted out to stay in. I'm sorry, I just can't get enough of the opportunities
he's like a cow with 9 lives.
Yeah, he really is.
He always wiggles his way out. During the quick little HOH competition that they had, which Corey won, it was very obvious that everyone was targeting Cirie.
Mm-hmm.
They were calling her up to the stand, trying to get her out.
Yeah.
Matt was doing it. Corey was doing it. Jag was doing it.
And again, this was a double eviction, so things are moving quickly. They didn't have the time to sit down and be like, this is how we're going to play it. They just all instinctively played that same way. And yes, Cirie was public enemy number 1.
She's still in it, but I do think she's in trouble.
Yeah.
People are realizing how big of a threat she is. All of those alliances that she was in, they're all catching up to her, and it's not looking good.
So Corey wins HOH, as you mentioned. It's his first HOH. He finally gets a big win under his belt after kind of taking the reins and controlling the house this last week or two. So that was a big win for him. And then he puts up Blue and Jared. A showmance, again, that wasn't a big surprise given the altercations that Jared has been in with Corey. But as we were talking before, the ultimate plan might have been to backdoor Cirie.
Mm-hmm. I think that was one of his options. I think he was thinking, if someone gets pulled off the block, I'm putting Cirie up, and likely she would have gone home. I don't think people would have missed out on that opportunity to get her out.
Yeah.
That's not what happened. Matt won the veto. He decided to keep noms the same, and they went ahead and evicted Jared. Pretty predictable. We knew that was coming for him soon.
And look at Matt putting together quite a resume. He was an obvious competitor from the start, but he's got quite a few comp wins now without a lot of blood on his hands.
Mm-hmm.
He has really positioned himself so well in this game, and it's got to be a leading favorite for many people out there.
I agree. I think he's very likable. We'll see if he makes big strategic moves in this game. I don't think people have won or people have really made a big name for themselves in the game without doing something that isn't favorable.
True. I agree with that. And so this all leads us to what you were discussing earlier was this zombie twist.
Mm-hmm.
We have Jared and Cameron both evicted, at least for now, from the Big Brother house. Why don't you tell us what's in store between them two?
So all that I gathered from watching Thursday night's episode was that Jared and Cameron were both evicted, yes, but they are considered zombies, fitting for Scary Week, and they're going to be moving back into the house, competing in some way because only one of them will be able to stay. They were both really excited, obviously learning that they have another chance to get back in the game. I have no idea what this will entail, however.
Yeah, this is unlike any Big Brother week we've seen before. Pretty much the standard week that we're normally used to is getting flipped on its head. There's not going to be an HOH this week. It's basically the Cameron and Jared show, and we're just along for the ride.
Yeah. Something that I also noticed a lot in regard to Jared was Cerie's reactions to everything. I said before she was over celebrating when he won HOH. When it was time to evict him, which she knew was coming, I thought it was so funny. I don't know if you heard her. She goes, "All right, so we're going Jared."
Oh, did
Yeah.
she? I did miss that, but I was intently watching how her and Jared said goodbye to each other, and it was because that has to be hard to like say goodbye to your son, who, and you're stuck in this house for however many more days. Like that's a tough goodbye, and they held it together pretty well.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was definitely interactions I was paying close attention to.
Yeah, she held it together. I don't think she gave anything away with her goodbye. She did throw him a vote, though,
Yes.
which I don't think people will read too much into that. But later, when they find out, it will become clear. Their
Yeah.
connection will become very clear.
Yeah, there was a sympathy vote, but we are in store for an amazing, uncertain week ahead. I cannot wait to see how this Jared and Cameron fiasco plays out and who's going to stay in this game. I'm sure all of this drama is just going to continue and heat up.
I love that they're switching things up. No HOH, no veto competition. It will be interesting to watch, to say the least.
And we obviously want to hear from you as well. However or wherever you're watching us from, leave us a comment on YouTube. We'll be in there talking and chatting it up with you guys. We want to know your hot takes and thoughts on this season, on this week. Jared and Cameron, who do you think is going to stay?
Yeah, and we'll be back to discuss how everything went down.
I can't wait. Last thing.
Mm-hmm.
After this week has played out, do you have a new final prediction for a winner, or
Ooh.
are you sticking with last week's? I believe you said Mimi.
I did say Mimi. I'm not really sure. Corey's making a big name for himself. We'll see if he can stay on top. I also think America has positioned herself very well in that she knows what's going on. She's almost playing puppet master with Corey because she's fully on his side. They've shared everything that they know with each other, but he's doing all the dirty work for her. She's coming out of this clean, but she is pulling the strings behind the scenes. So if she gets an HOH win under her belt and she starts making moves, America is in a very good position.
Okay, I like it. I think Matt and his positioning in this game has only gotten stronger. I last week I said Cameron was my top favorite. I don't see after this, even if he survives this week, how he can claw his way to the end. Even though he would be deserving to get there. I think Matt, the way he's positioning himself socially and the resume that he's putting together, I think right now he's my leading favorite. So I'm switching it up a bit too this week.
Mm-hmm. All right. We'll see how it goes, and we will see you next time. Bye.